Hello, everybody. This is Dana with the Freedom Please channel. Today is number 2 of reflections. I prepared this last week and sat on it and prayed on it and sat on it and prayed on it. And it took me all day to record this video. Not because of stopping and starting, but because I'm just going to give it to you like it is. This will be for some people. It will not be for other people. I totally get it. I'm letting you all know my disclaimers. I let you all know that this is my journey along with your journey. And I honestly believe this is one of the next steps that you have to take if you want change. If you want change. So, the reflection series, as a reminder, is really for you to just consider things, to reflect, to meditate on thoughts and concepts that will make your lives full, where we are free to be authentically ourselves, loving others, and ourselves to our infinite potential, I'm going to kind of start with a story. This weekend was extremely busy for me in a good way, and I had an opportunity to go through this class. And in this class, I learned so much about myself. And there were some things about, a lot of it I knew, but have you ever been in a situation where you thought something was who you are, or a way about yourself, but when you sit and really think about it, consider it, of who you are at your core, it's not really you. I'm going to expand. I am, if you know me, I talk, I hug people. When I'm in my funny ways, I will try my best to be invisible. Um, and I have that thing even in my house where I'll say, okay, I'm trying to be invisible. And so everybody will like literally pretend like I'm not sitting there. And I love that. And so for my whole life, I've always been, to me, outgoing. But when I thought about it, I realized I'm not really outgoing. I welcome people. I love interacting with people, but it's something that honestly drains me because I give so much of myself so that when I have a chance to sit down after that, I am beat. So usually, even if when I plan events or do things, I literally have weeks in between, months in between, because I know that about myself. Now, what happens when we don't know those things about ourselves? It causes so there's this clash, or you beat up yourself because you're unable to follow through. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Today is make the commitment. Make the commitment. And we always have scripture. I told you all this last week. I'm going to try my best to always have a scripture as well as quotes. And so I'm going to start with the quote. It says, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. Our first reflections was about taking a survey of the lay of the land. I asked you to reflect, to think, to close your eyes, and to visualize what you wanted your day to look like, from the time that you woke up to the time that you go to sleep, and any other details in there. What made you smile? What made your heart happy? And usually we are not going to imagine our days where it makes us frown or angry or upset. And so I want you to think about that. And a part of your task was to do the task, but then the advanced task was write it down. So did you do it? And if you did, how did it go? I would love to know that either in this comment box or on the one for the first reflections, because I am reading those as well. But today is about, now that you've seen that vision, that visualization, and you see it there, what do you do with it now? You may just say, oh, that's just a dream, or, I mean, maybe when I retire, not now, you know? But what do you do with it? And I believe the next step is that you have to make a commitment. This quote says, if you don't make a commitment, then it's just hopes. It's a promise, oh, one day. But there's no way for you to kind of wrap your mind around or plan for or try to make preparations for that, so that the visualization will not be this pipe dream, but that you can take it from being a vision to a reality. Now, that may mean it may not come to pass every little single detail, but it can. I truly believe that it can. But the thing is, what I've learned is sometimes I go after this one thing. I go. And even if I don't quite hit that mark, I'm at such a different place where I'm ecstatic. I've either made changes, I've changed my surroundings, I've changed my life, I've changed my health, so that in the process, it's almost as if I'm not running after that. I'm enjoying my life. And all the while, everything in me is still pushing me or giving me this momentum into that space. And so today I'm asking you to make a commitment. Not to me or the video series, although I'd love to have you every week, but to yourself. If that was what came to your mind, and there's something in you that desires to have that. It may long to have it. It may be something that you've always wanted, but you haven't allowed yourself to consider that it can go from being a possibility to a reality. The scripture, look, y'all think, see, look at this. Notes everywhere. I'm like taking notes down. I'm thinking of you all. I am, okay? The scriptures. I'm going to read the two scriptures to you, but I'm going, and not but, and I'm going to include a link in the description box with the scriptures, and I want you to go and look at the scriptures in context. What do I mean by that? For us that go to church or hear people speak and use scripture, we hear one scripture and we're ready to grab a hold of it and take off running with it. But it means absolutely nothing if we don't read it in context. What are there any requirements of us? Are there any promises for us? Are there any conditions that have to be met in order for that body of scripture to apply to you? I may read it and say, oh, yes, Lord, yes. And you may read them like, oh, I haven't done that. Right? Because that's how some promises work. I mean, think about it. You sign off on a contract, and that contract has a lot of clauses, and each one of those clauses has some sort of a condition, an obligation, a requirement in order for that contract to be valid. This is no different. It's no different, okay? The first scripture is Psalm 37:5, and I'm going to read it again in all four versions. Well, in four versions of the Bible. The first one is the Message. It is, open up before God, keeping nothing back. He'll do whatever needs to be done. And the New American Standard, because I always say NAS. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He will do it. NIV. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will do this. NLT, New Living Translation. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust Him, and He will help you. If you're thinking about making a commitment, and this is going to be part of your task, we cannot continue to believe that we are at this thing alone, or that we are doing this thing and it's all about me, or it's we're in this like an island, because it's not true. It's just, it's not true. Here with this scripture, there's a lot of things that are being said, but from this scripture, first of all, again, read it in context. What does it tell you? What is required of you, so that here you can commit whatever it is that you whatever it is you see you want to do to God, and can trust that He will do it. What is it that you need to do? And here I'd like for you to consider in committing is to pray on it. Is there any components of what you are seeing that you're just, it's totally about self? Nobody else benefits but you. And if that's the way that you roll, well, that's the way that you roll. But I would like for you to consider times in your life when you've done things for other people, that you done things from your heart, and not just you were positively affected by that energy and that effort, but others were positively affected. And then how many times you've done things for others and you felt like it's almost wrong to feel as good as you do, because you did it for them, but you feel so good about, not that you're patting yourself on the back, but your heart just feels like it could just swell in your chest and explode, because that can happen when you're helping others. And then all the while, you find that you are progressing as well. But it wasn't all about you. It wasn't all about you. Okay? So think about that when I'm sharing these with you, okay? The second scripture is Proverbs 16:3. Put God in charge of your work. Then what you planned will take place. In the NAS, commit your works to the Lord, and your plans will be established. NIV, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. NLT, commit your work to the Lord, and then your plans will succeed. Read these in context. Tell me in the comments what the first thing that pops in your mind when you hear them. How does that marry back to what you did last week? And then I'm going to read a little bit of in context in the message, and I'll give you your task and the final quote. This is Proverbs chapter 16. Mortals make elaborate plans, but God has the last word. Humans are satisfied with whatever looks good. God probes for what is good. Put God in charge of your work. Then what you planned will take place. God made everything with a place and purpose. Even the wicked are included, but for judgment. God can't stomach arrogance or pretense. Believe me, He'll put those upstarts in their place. Guilt is banished through love and truth. Fear of God deflects evil. When God approves of your life, even your enemies will end up shaking your hand. We plan the way we want to live, but only God makes us able to live it. Make a commitment. Make a commitment. What do you choose for your life? What commitments do you have to make in order for that choice to be a reality? How can you offer that up to God and say, I see this. Is this what Father, what would you have me to do? You can't do this without considering, and this is what this reflections reflect about it. Consider, meditate, ponder, kick back, relax, and think about, why do you choose that? Why? What's your why? I mean, how many times when you do these motivational things, or you read self-help things, and they always tell you, what is your why? Because sometimes when you're going after that commitment and you're trying to make that vision a reality, your why is the only thing that you have to hold on to when everything looks like, why am I doing this? No, not your why. Yeah, your why. Yeah, it flip-flops, right? It can go from a good thing to being like, why am I doing this? Why am I subjecting myself to this craziness, to these people, to this circumstance, to this place, to this life? Okay? And is it for yourself, your family, for others, for your church, for your business, for your clients? Why? 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 And then look at that commitment again. I am going to include a link in the description box so that you can read the scriptures in context. I'm also going to include in that same link a copy of a pledge that I found in a magazine almost 8 years ago, or somewhere in there. 6 years. Anyway, that will help you, okay? It will help you. I believe it will. And that's the event. So you know both the task and the advanced task. The task is to think about it. The advanced task is to write it down. Capture it. Okay? In closing, there's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you do it only when circumstances permit. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. So, are you ready to make a commitment? So that what you visualize can potentially be a reality of your life. And let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you all about what you think about the series, what you think about today's topic, and let's see what happens here, okay? Again, this is Dana with Freedom Please channel. You will see the link in the description box to the post with the scriptures. I have the scriptures on there. I have today's quotes on there. I have the pledge on there. I have the task written out on there, as well as the advanced task. There is no reason for you not to do this, okay? So I'm going to bed. Don't I look? All right. Well, have a fantastic night. And I look forward to being back with you next week for reflection number 3. Take care.